Alright, hello. Welcome back. Let's continue here. So we are currently trying to implement being able to bind like an identifier to some kind of execution here and store the result in E. And this is not going to be put out to standard out. It's going to be stored in memory instead. And then the idea is you could coerce it into a string by providing it in a string interpolation like this, where we echo that out, and that will basically, that will show like standard out from E. But you could potentially access other things there as well, like standard error or the exit code as well. So what we have done is basically we've updated the execution compilation to this now. So that part is done. So this code down here is basically the blueprint of what we want to have to make in order to make this thing come true here. So this part is done with a couple of updates to the compilator to be able to do this. So let's just go through this again, what we are doing here. So basically this part here is just this part after the binding here. Okay, and the rest like around is the binding. And so what we're doing is we're setting up these things that are supposed to capture the output. So we're setting up these pipes, and they are capturing the output of this echo. And here we have some forks which will continuously pull from the source, which is echo, and store it in a buffer. Same with standard error. And then once the execution is up and running, we get our execution handles, which includes both the process handle of the execution process and then also the thread handle where this is run in, or I mean this is run in here. So what we're waiting on here is the thread handle. So yeah, we're basically waiting for the execution here to be done. And then we allocate now the execution result, because after this point the execution is done. So now we can grab out these pipes here. So these pipes are going to be stored forever basically right now, and we can just allocate some space for that. We can set the first to be standard out, second to be standard error, and third to be so this is basically a struct here, what we're doing. So alloc 3, what that does is it goes into the heap, allocates 3. So this is the virtual heap, with keep in mind as well. It's like a virtual heap with it's not really, you know, a heap of bytes. It's a heap of our kind of value representation that we have. So we're allocating 3 values, and these things are one type of value. These are pipe handles. And then this one is the exit code of the execution. No, actually, no, sorry. This is the process handle. So we're making kind of like a struct here because we're allocating 3 things. The first thing is standard out. The second thing is standard error, and the third thing is the process handle. So we have all these things that enables us to get, you know, the data of the standard out, the data of standard error, and also the exit code, which is stored in an internal table there as well. So once we have this now, we can use this as a result of the whole thing, and we can declare E to that result. However, we need, whenever we declare it to E, I mean, now this is a const, so that's fine. We basically want to say, where do we store this? Because right now it's stored on the heap, but we need to be able to refer to it as well. and we can't just have. We need to be able to have this pointer somehow in the compilation. And so how do we do that is the question. Now this thing down here I think is unrelated, so let's not worry about that. So normally what I would do is perhaps put it in the closure. Whenever we have a declaration here, we could put it in kind of the current thread's storage of local variables. Now that should be fine. So we could do that, and that would mean that we need to now also set whatever closure variable we have. So it's going to be c plus something. So this plus something is now that this is what's going to get stored. This pointer here is going to get stored in this declaration, so we know where to find this value, and we set that. And this question mark is a comp time known relative address to the closure pointer, and so we're setting this to be R, which is the pointer to the heap here that we get. All right, and with that, I think we are good to go. Now, what we've accomplished when we've done this, what we've accomplished is binding to this E, so we have this stored. However, it's another thing to actually use it later. So this will be a different operation that we need to take care of. But let's start with this first. So let's start with this first part here, where we're creating a bunch of pipes. I'm going to create another view here just so we can see what we're working with. And then compiler. Whoops, the window has changed here. Oh, 1 second. No, what is it? Didn't I have this? God damn it. I don't have that anymore for some reason. Okay. Do I have this? Yes. Oh shit. Okay. 1 second here. Oops. Uno momento. What is this? Oh, I thought that was the... Okay, there we go. I thought that was the, like... what is it? The process ID, but that looks super weird, like a large... But it wasn't. Okay. Right. Let's go back. Okay. Let's do it like this for now. The problem that I had was I basically tried to run the application. I have this binding set up that I press F6. It will show like debugging information. That we show all the execution, but I think it's got stuck in some infinite loop, and so when I cancel it, Vim is trying to like capture all of the output, and that takes like forever. So So I have to like kill it and get back here. So anyway, right, this should be like compile. Is it binding? Actually, oops. Yeah, so it's interesting also because we have the discard. I'm gonna have like the discard as well, so you could technically do something like this, which is kind of like saying we don't really care about anything this results in, like the standard out. Like the only thing that would happen here would be if it has some other side effects, like changing the file system or something, or calling like a network call or something. But technically you could argue, do we just ignore standard out, standard error here and the exit code? Because that would be the I would assume that would be what we want to have, like just logically, because this would do the same thing except we're storing the results in E, but this would do the same thing except we're just throwing away the results. But anyway, that's not what we're doing right now. I just saw the discard here and I was just thinking. Okay, so identifier. This is usually what happens anytime I try to do something. It's just I get distracted. Trying to focus, staying on the course is like one of the hardest things. All right, so discard. So wait, identifier. Yes. Yeah. So when we compile this expression, this is what's important here. So normally we compile the expression, but now we don't have a context where this is compiled. So this is compiled without a context, which means that this is not happening. Well, this is happening, but it's happening like without a context. Now this fork, I wonder if we did this here. I'm gonna double check here. Compile execution. Yeah. So technically we could try to yeah. The thing is, fork here, it's inherit, so we're not actually doing this part here. This is what's missing, and I'm not sure how we're gonna do this, because I think we have to kind of. I mean, we could compile this in its own fork, I guess. I guess that's what we have to do, actually. Yeah. So so here, instead of just compiling expression, we actually need to compile it in a separate context. I'm just thinking about maybe we should have a way to compile something in a different context while also returning something from within that context, which we can. So for example, when we compile an executable call, we get back some, the execution handles. And that is a result that's compiled from both the thread that calls the executable, so that you can wait for that to be done, and also the process handle, so we can get the exit code of the process as well. So that is what's happening there. So what we could do is make like compile with context or something. And we would need to supply locations for standard out and standard error, and I guess standard in as well. So I'm just gonna say standard IO here, just to make it no. In location okay, and then I'm gonna say these are nullable, default to null, and if they are null we are going to default to inherited. Okay. And then what do we need actually? We need like the expression that we are compiling. Okay. Right. So what we need to do here is we need to set up a closure, a fork, and we need to grab, or yeah, we need to set the result of this fork to we need to set the result of the closure result thing. Yeah, this is a bit convoluted here. It's a bit complicated, but it's basically first create a closure for a new fork, create a space for, or create, like declare a variable for the result of the compilation or for the execution of the expression. Fork into, okay, we need to create a instruction set for the expression compilation. I guess this is all if expression is, if it's compiled into something that is not, like if this compiles to basically a like if it doesn't have any side effects, if it doesn't compile, if it compiles to like a comp time known value, we don't actually need to do any of this. But we wouldn't really know that beforehand though, so we need to do this anyway. I guess we could maybe check afterwards if it was, or we could improve our compiler so that each compilation will actually produce, will actually not like modify the instruction set directly. It will like say it will like get you some kind of result that you can either put into our current instruction set, or it will say that, hey, this was a comp time known value, so you don't actually need this to, yeah, something like that, because that but anyway, let's just do this first and we can think about that later. So create a closure for a new fork, declare variable result of execution of expression, create an instruction set for the expression compilation, compile expression into the new instruction set, fork into new instruction set using the standard IO context, Also, actually, set result variable to. So these two steps are happening in the new instruction set. This will be switch to new instruction set. Okay, and then here is like switch back to original instruction set. Okay, and here set result variable to result of compilation. And then we switch back, and then we fork. So what's happening here is basically what the compiler is doing. And then we create a fork into the new instruction set using standard IO context. And in the end, the thing is here, like, because if we need to wait for this fork, I think we do. I think we do want to wait for this fork here. Because otherwise we don't have a result that we can see. Another thing that we could do is that, like, we could avoid the whole fork thing if we just, like, we could basically implement a way to redirect our current fork's standard IO. Like, we could just set it to something else, because then we don't need to create this whole new fork, because that's basically why we need to create a new fork is just because we need to be able to set the standard IO to something else temporarily, and when it's done, we're going back. Hello, Penguin. What's up? What's up? Hope you're having a nice day. But yeah, anyway, let's just do this for now. Fork into new. Yeah, because I think we have to wait for that. Yeah, let's just wait for fork. And then now we have the result. So now we can say return. Well, it's going to be the closure variable, but so we need to declare a variable both outside here. Well, this is a closure variable. I'm going to say a closure variable because then it gets declared both inside here and then outside. And then here is going to be we're returning this closure variable. I just need to think, because we need to create this variable in our local scope as well. So actually, let's declare this variable, and then also I'm gonna say to a declare as a closure variable as well for the new fork. Okay, so then it's gonna be stored there as well. This variable is like a local variable to our current fork context, and then we can return that. Return variable. Or, well, variable, I guess binding is a better word here. Closure binding. And I guess it needs to be mutable as well, because we need to set it here well, I think mutability doesn't really matter. Like the IR code doesn't care about mutability. It's just a compiler. All right. Okay, so I think these are the steps needed to be able to do this, to reliably get some kind of result out of... There's a lot of steps here, but yeah, out of like running a compilation in a separate context, a separate standard IO context, and get the results out. So okay, create a new closure. So this would be create. This would be like closure something something. Yeah, compile create closure. And declare a binding. I'm just gonna check this. Where did we have like the result thing? Was it over here? Set. Yeah, this one. And here's the identifier. Compile result variable. I guess we can do this. We can use this because this is like dynamically creating a unique identifier. So let's just do that. Where is it? Compile result variable. What is the value? Execution handles. Oh, I see. That's the pointer to where it's right to the struct. So this would be like the initial value. And actually, we should already have a closure. I don't think we are. No, wait, we don't. This is the closure for the new fork, right? Where would this be though? This would be like in the current closure. It's like we want to have a new local variable. It's gonna be mutable. Yeah, declare closure variable. So basically we just need to declare it as mutable. I think this is mutable. Yeah, it's mutable, okay. And this is the initial value. But we don't really have that. So I'm just gonna say that this is void. For now. I'm just gonna double check here how this is used. So this, I think this is like double dereference. So first we're getting like the value out by compiling the identifier. That will give us the location of this variable, I think. And then that's dereferenced and given, and the dereference is at the OR, and then that OR gets dereferenced again. So basically, yeah, this should be good enough for now. Okay, so I was just thinking if we need to supply some kind of special thing here, but we don't. It's just gonna be a void, and then we need a closure binding for the new fork as well. So does this give us the closure? Yeah, this gives us the closure, and so it's gonna be like declare closure variable. So basically dot mutable result identifier. Depth is hang on. How was this done over here? I forget. So the closure is created. We don't actually create. No, it's when we use it. Okay, yeah. So we don't actually need to create the closure variable like that. We just compile identifier. That will basically mark the variable as being used. So yeah, okay, there we go. So we don't actually need to do anything there. Okay, create a instruction set. So this one is just like that. And then we switch to the new instruction set. So instruction set, wait, current instruction set. And we also need to store the original. And then over here we switch back. All right. Now in this instruction set, we will say we will do result is compile expression. Okay. And then we want to set. Right. So now we want to do set. So we want to get the result variable. It's going to be a compile identifier, and the identifier is result identifier. Okay, so that will mark this as being used by the inner instruction set, which will add it to the closure and wire it up like that, which will then we can use here. So result variable dot source dot location. Pretty sure. Yeah, and then it needs to. I think it also needs to be dereferenced once, and we set it to the result. Okay. So then now we're storing that variable. We're changing basically this variable from within this fork here. And then we're done with this fork. Over here, now we have to create the fork. And we basically, and the destination is the instruction set. Actually, this is not from. Wait, this is this 0. And then here we have standard in. So now we are gonna use. So now we need to set up this context here. So standard in is gonna be standard io.in, or else thread standard in. And the closure. What was that now? Closure after FS. Okay. There we go. Alright, so after the fork, R is set to the thread handle, so now we wait for R. And in the end, we return this identifier somehow. Or I guess it would be like compile identifier. Do you not have a source? No? So that will look up the thing, find it, and give it there. And that will be declared. That should be available in this scope. So yeah, that should be what we need to do there. Okay. So now we have this kind of generic way of compiling anything, basically, inside a context which has a different standard I/O. So now we can use that compile binding just 1 second. Alright, sorry about that. Hello Polaris, have a nice day. Yo, Baby Yoda, what's up, what's up? One second. Alright, sorry about that. Let's see. Vegura did some research about web components and found something promising. Okay, cool. Yeah, I checked out the JSX, whatever it was. JSX. JSX Pine. And try that out a little bit. Stencil.js. Okay. And I mean, yeah, it's nice because it solves a big issue, I feel like, with, you know, just doing raw like HTML. And that is templating. I mean, you know, you could also use something like a templating, you know, preprocessor as well. But I just, yeah, JSX is just, it's just so nice. And also like hooking up automatically with like Alpine and stuff. That's actually pretty cool. But I haven't tried to do anything advanced or anything with it yet. But I want to try out do some, you know, the usual like to-do application or something. Oh, so it's a web component compiler. Okay. Templating JSX. Cool. All right, cool. Let's see. I might check that out. I'm just gonna see here. Finish this up here. All right. So what we've done now is we've done kind of the prerequisite of this and this over here. So over here, I mean, I guess we could statically analyze this expression as well to check, okay, are you something that we actually need to store in a separate context? That is something that we could do here. We could check like, okay, well, are you a or we could have the compilation result tell us that as well. Uses HTML, it creates custom elements for your widgets. Yeah. I mean, even the thing that you like, all JSX, like the JSX Pine also just produces. It basically just produces HTML elements that can then be like stringified. Like when you render them. I'm not really sure how it does like the Alpine.js stuff, like how like sharing state between different components or something like that. But we could check that out. We could do that, a little bit of that after I'm done with this. But I think for now we'll just always assume we need it. So I'm gonna say this will be compile context with context, and standard IO we will have, so standard in will be inherited, standard out is going to be standard out pipe, standard is going to be standard pipe. Those are the things that we need to buffer. You're new to this as well, always did HTML. So have you ever tried React? Maybe you'll get enlightened. I know it's so hard to go from something that you know so well and then try something new, because it's always like a big hurdle just getting like the basic things. There's also PureScript. Have you tried PureScript? My wife was doing React for her computer class, and I kind of helped her out a little bit without looking up anything, so I'm gonna fix an issue. Yeah, there you go. See how easy it is. Now, some things are very straightforward. Well, I would say some other things with React are, I think it's more, it's like you need to kind of read up more on how React works now than you used to have whenever it had like classes. But I am grateful that it got rid of the classes, because it was just, I don't know, the classes were like, yeah, it was very clear on what was kind of happening, but it was also, I just think it's just so much more text and words and symbols and the indentation. So it like complicated. I need to fix this. There we go. I don't know. I just don't like classes anymore. If I can avoid it, I will. It's like they have their purpose, but I mean, obviously Sig doesn't have classes. No, not CSS classes. I mean, you know, programming classes, like the old React had. You had the components were actually classes instead of functions. Yes, or object-oriented programming classes. Yes. But now React we don't use classes anymore. It's only using functions. Function class. I mean, you can still have classes, I believe. You can still have like that, but nobody, when you're doing something new, I've never seen anyone bring out classes again with React. Alright, so we need these pipes. So basically we want to do standard out pipe ref. It's gonna be try new ref, and this is gonna be standard out pipe, and we have standard and we also do pipe. So this will create a new pipe, and I'm not sure if we need to set any options on them. But now we've done these things, and then we need these two forks as well. And I think they will be self-running, so and exiting, so we don't really need to manage them or anything. We can throw away the result. I want to try maybe a widget library stencil soon. Do a simple app, just get the feel of it. For React, it's very unlikely that it touches, because I know how heavy it is. Yeah. I think right now, like React is if you go from like just doing normal like HTML into React, the main hurdle is gonna be learning about how it works and how you do certain things. But once you get over that hurdle, I don't think it's like super heavy anymore. Like actually implementing stuff. I mean, of course, it feels a lot lighter when you're just working with HTML because you don't need any setup or anything basically for it. But you know, if you're used to React, I wouldn't say it's heavy or anything like that. It doesn't feel heavy working with it. But and then you have things like, you know, you can share state, it automatically updates UI and all that stuff. So it has a bunch of nice features and reusability components, you know. But then it's like all these weird edge cases that's, you know, or caveats that you need to be wary about, that you can easily fall into traps and well, maybe not that easily, I'm not sure, but yeah, there are some traps you can fall into, and so sometimes it feels like you're getting stuck on some weird React issue that you really don't want to be stuck on, but for the most part it's pretty simple actually once you've learned it. And I think it's gone in a good direction for what it is, like that technology for what it is. I think it's good that it moved away from the classes and now it's all functions and it has the hooks. However, some people really hate the hooks, and causes just a push towards going something like HTMX instead. And I can understand that. I mean, I like when I switched to HTMX and tried that a long time ago. I got this light feeling of, well, this is a lot nicer to work with. Like it's not, you know, we're working more on like a native level, which felt nice. And you get a better understanding of how things work, maybe like under the hood and stuff. But yeah, I think what you learned that also you can go back up the abstraction layer and be better off there as well. So yeah, so React doesn't work without like a runtime. Like you can also use React to produce static HTML. That you can also do that, but then you don't get like all the features that React can do. But React, like if you want to have React and reactivity, which is the whole point of React, you need the runtime, and the runtime is basically is like, you know, determining when some component is going to re-render with new data and all that. So it's basically, it creates the DOM, but it also has this engine that's running in the meantime that is updating all the elements and stuff. But I will say that is not really important. Like it's good to know that it does that. I haven't ever gone in and looked at, you know, under the hood there to see what React is doing. For the most part, like, because it's not like, I mean, you just, what you need to know is like how to do certain things, basically. But yeah, anyway, we can look at. I want to explore like the JSX stuff a little bit more, like the JSX Pine. I'm very interested in checking that out. Yeah, I think I'm like I don't know how easy it is to get into it nowadays. Like I come from a background where I've used React for a long time, and it's like I started when it looked entirely different from what it looks right now. But yeah, stencil.js, yeah, I could check that out as well. All right, so we need to create these forks. So let's use fork. Destination is going to be, hang on, where was that? I think it was compile executable call. And we have some, no, it's the block. Yeah, compile block. That's right. We have a fork that's running a pipe all the time. So this one, no wait. This one. Inherit standard out stream set. Yeah, there we go. And we don't care about that. And actually we need to determine. So we have source, destination, and then standard in. Standard in is inherited, so that's gonna be thread standard in. Standard out is this one. That one, and then closure is empty. Okay. I would use that because it seems simple, because I think I understand it. Like it's just help you writing custom elements. Yeah, Jace. Yeah, exactly. So it's like what you would get is basically a bunch of kind of, you know, it's like static HTML. Except it's set up with Alpine.js, so it's actually not static, but and then I would explore like how would the pipeline work, because right now it's like you import, like how do you cache the result? Like that's pretty, you know, it's pretty simple. You could just set up you can set up a compilation step before the compiles to a bunch of HTML files as well. Yeah, you can do a whole bunch of stuff, but that's what I was started to think about, like, because I think, well, the first step is probably just to create a server that would just, you know, render the things whenever you get a call to, let's say, just the root. You would render the index HTML and return that, and then the same with all other. But then I would like look at, okay, well, how can we cache this, like how, like, so we don't need to render it every time, like the server, even the first, you know, the first call, so that everyone that visits that are new to the site will not have to wait for the render. So I would like pre-render those and something like that. So I will start thinking about that kind of stuff, and then that's where it gets like complicated again. So I'm not even sure if yeah, I don't know. It feels like it's expected for you to use Node.js something for this. Yes. So like right now, how I've set up an example for the JXX Pine is that I'm using like I'm using some kind of I think Fastify or whatever it was, you know, some kind of server library, and then, or actually maybe actually I think I'm using bun actually, and then just set up, you know, some route to render the HTML, and just import JSX. I can show you later. I can show you after I've done this here. So let's see. Yeah, I've done a little bit of testing, and Node.js, I mean, yes, it's fast. It's like, it's good enough basically for what it's doing. But Bun is like, it's using a different engine under the hood, and I forgot what it was now, but it's basically. Wait, what language was Rust or Bun written in? Which language? It's like written in like, oh, it's actually written in Zig, and that makes it faster just by default. Yes, it's faster. I dare say that, because that's what they boasted about all this time. Whenever Bun came out, the whole point of Bun was that it was like way faster than Node.js. And also it's written in Zig, so that's like an automatic win. Maybe it was Go first, but because I think like when I heard about Bun first, like I had never heard about Zig. But I guess it could have technically existed at the time. I don't know. Anyway, I think Zig started out at like 2016 or something like that. Man, that's like 10 years ago now. But I mean, then it was just a baby. Alright, so now we've got the pipe refs, creating the pipes, we're compiling with the context here, and we create the fork. This could be put up here, doesn't really matter, I don't think, unless we want to keep them open maybe. No, it doesn't matter. This is run there, we get the result out. We compile identifier binding with the results. We set that to the results. Yeah. Okay. Instruction set. Create instruction set or add instruction set. There we go. All right. Now, what's happening over here? The value is ignored. Okay. Well, this would be the fork handle, which we will wait for. There we go. That's the same thing. It's R as well, but whatever. I see the advantage of using TypeScript or whatever. I love TypeScript. I will never not use TypeScript. TypeScript compiler written in Go got much faster. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. I'm not sure what it was written in at first. I have tried Go, but I don't know. To me, it just feels like another kind of uninteresting language, at least compared to Zig. But it from what I've heard, it's very, very good at like creating backends and stuff. But because that's what kind of it's built for. But yeah, I don't know. And you know, the Go routines are also a little bit different from what I'm used to, but it's not like compelling enough for me. Okay, so now we have, let's see, we have these things. This is now compiled in a separate context with these things, so that's good. This we don't have. We have this question mark. No, we don't actually. We need to wait for this as well. Yes. So yeah. So when we get the result, and then we're gonna say if the result is never gonna be or at this point, I don't think, because this will just do that. No. So what we can do is we can say after this we will say if is waitable, we will do wait, which is basically always gonna be waitable, but it's, yeah. Source location. So we're gonna wait on that. Yeah. All right. Hopefully we get the type information as well. It has some hidden advanced features. Overall, it's very simple. What are those features? I think the language is almost perfect, but it did some bad decisions. Okay, interesting. So what are the advanced features? Expected bool found. Oh yeah. So waitable. Okay. Okay, so I think we've done, well, we've done this, and this is what's also now left as well. The execution result this is kind of special case here, because it's like this won't happen unless we're binding to something, and well, we might need to do this anyway. This might need to be part of this, although this is like an async thing. So it's like when we wait for it, we can compile this result, although not really. No, let's just make this into a special case, like when we're binding to something and that something is an executable call, we create this execution result. Yeah. And we can basically say if we're waitable. Let's also do like if result or if hang on. Yeah, we can check this here. Is type. Oh. Waitable is type. God damn it. Okay, now we want to create this as a result. We can make allocators. You can work relatively easy with foreign languages. It has this C-Go feature. It lets you compile C code and link directly with Go. Okay, cool. I mean, that's it. I mean, is Go written in LLVM? Because that's just a feature of LLVM. It has reflection. Okay, nice. I'm rewriting an app from C++ to Go. Huh. It's mainly because of the built-in networking libraries and encryption. As a decent Go obfuscator. Okay, it supports LLVM, but it's not. It wasn't. It didn't use it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, Zig is also written itself, mostly. But you know, you can still use it. You can still like produce LLVM. You know, it can still use LLVM in like the back end of the compiler, which will give you a lot of those features like C integration and, well, I'm not really exactly sure how it works, but it does give you a lot of stuff. But the downside is that it's very slow. And that's why they kind of switch in Zig. They switched from LLVM to their own written backend, which is like a lot faster now. Oh, so Go, you don't like the Go has garbage collection, some of the bullshit errors. Error messages need to be top notch. It's such a killer for like if you're new as well and you try to do something and learn the language. Especially like you can feel if it's an older language as well, because it doesn't feel like it has you know, it's easy to work with. Like tooling, so important nowadays. Public and private based on capitalization. Oh, what? My initial reaction is that I don't like it. I know that like things like that, like conventions and stuff, you get used to those kind of things, but it's also kind of like a hurdle when you're going from one to another. You have to kind of relearn things, and if you're switching languages a lot, that becomes an issue. Errors for unused variables. Yeah, Zig has that as well, and you know, it's annoying, but then it's also like, okay, well, I kind of work around it now by not actually just declaring unused variables until I need the variable. It also has errors for not using the return value of function calls and unused, arguments or parameters. There's even like a built-in code action where you can, like in the language server, that you can automatically discard any unused variables. But then it's also annoying because it adds a comment saying, if I do this, let's say I have like a string here and it's not used, I get this error here. I get 3 errors because I have like multiple things going on, but you get this error. Okay, let's discard this value. Okay, so now it's an error, but now whatever, we get a different error here. Let's do that instead. So now, but then you get this instead. You get this warning. So that is also very annoying. But it's just a way for you to not forget about this, I think. And I've kind of worked around it now, as I said. Like, I don't actually create these variables. If I do it, I will use it. I will like directly type code immediately. And also, it kind of led me to disable the virtual text. Because, think about this. Like, you say like, okay, well, I do this. At this point, it would show some kind of text here. It will show text, like red text. It will take focus from me that I need to focus on what I'm doing. And it will like insert a bunch of text over here that's like, hey, you're not using this variable. Yeah, because I just created it. So let me just continue working before you're like haunting me with these error messages. But that's why I disabled this. There is an error here, but you don't see it until I say that I want to look at the errors now. So then you can have basically any kind of error, you want without seeing it is the key. I would use something like Odin, but the issue is compiler isn't open source as far as I know. So why wouldn't you want to use it? Because it's not open source? It's just because of principle, or Odin is like pretty much what I want from a higher language. It's not very opinionated, simple, fast. Yes, it is a compiler error. It's not like a linting thing. It's a compiler error. Like if, let's say, do I have any other errors here? No. So I will create this. Okay, now that's a error. I will let's comment it out. I will run build, no errors. Introduce this. There's an error here. Because I want to obfuscate my code to make it hard to crack and other stuff. Okay, interesting. They don't have an obfuscator, so to do that, I'd have to edit the compiler. For example, encrypt strings and stuff. Well, oh, I see. Code obfuscation. All right. I mean, yeah. technically obfuscation is just it's not really 100% security. Of course, it's just another hurdle to get through. If someone really wants to crack your program, obfuscation will only like increase the time it takes, I guess. But I guess it's a good defense for. Yeah, I guess there is no 100% security, but I mean, yeah, I mean, if you wanna make it like not crackable or something like that, I mean, I guess that's maybe impossible, unless you're storing the program on like a server, and the client cannot access it unless you. I don't know. Yeah. Can you make it 100% secure? Like, even if you have it on the server, they could still like eventually get all the pieces there. It's less about cracking, it's more about generating unique binaries. Signature-based detection. So it's like you're trying to see that your program is correct. By looking at the hash or something. Yeah, I'm not too good at this stuff, so I don't really know too much. But so what? But okay. So what are you trying to protect? Most of the security that I think about is more like networks, like in a web app, because that's what I'm used to more. Because when you have the data stored on like remote, like if some, then it becomes more an issue about permissions and user like access and that kind of stuff. Like someone wants to do some type of action, is this user permitted to do that? Because otherwise they would have to kind of hack into your, like if that, because that you can make like almost like, you know, probably like 100% secure. And then they would, to get around that, they would have to like hack your server. But then they wouldn't have, you know, the program, your program. The program would be run, basically parts of the program is running on the server, and then parts of it, like, and that's the part that has the security, basically. And then the only thing they see is the front end. Like on their computer, on the, in code, I mean. So, okay, so if it's a thing now, we want to do this. Oh, it even transferred the thing. Okay, so basically here we're creating a execution result. So we're gonna do alloc. Oops. 3 and we want to set R plus 0. I guess will be reference. We're gonna set that to pipe out. Why is that not? Oh. And then add 1. This will be pipe standard error. Add 2. This would be execution handles plus 0. But we don't. Well, actually, we do have it. That's the result. Here, the waitable. So this would be, but we don't have a way to get it. Although it's plus 0, so we can just deref it directly. Yeah. So it's going to be waitable. Oops. Waitable dereference. What do you think? What about what? Sorry, I'm not sure if I missed something that you said there, but I'll try to talk about everything there. What language would be best? Hang on 1 second. I'm gonna look into the stream thing on Twitch and see. Okay, yeah, I didn't miss anything. What language would be best? But would be best for like obfuscating code. Go is good for backends. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I haven't done too much myself in it though. Mostly I've done C#, Node.js, Bun, and that's basically it for backends. PHP, but that was a long time ago. Yeah, mostly like C# I've done. And it's also interesting because C# used to be this super heavy language. It felt like everything needed to be in a class. Everything needed to be like, to be able to just have one program, you had like namespace, whatever, program, class, program, function, main. But now they've gone back to like they've gone to having, you can just have like code directly. You don't even have to have a, I don't think you even have to have a function anymore. I'm not too sure about that. But basically they went from having this super strict class thing, but now you don't need to have a class, which is very interesting. I might just stick with Go because honestly it does everything I need. I was torn between if I should learn Rust or not. Okay, what do you think about Rust? I don't really have an opinion on Rust. Like, from what I've heard, it's like people who like it, they really like it. But then there's other people who also like saying that, yeah, it's nice, but it's also, it can be very heavy to work with if you want to do something simple. Sometimes, well, it would be simple in another language, but in Rust it would be like a lot more complicated. but it is very like, I don't know. And then people say it's like safe, you know, for like multi-threaded applications. I don't really do that much multi-threading, so I don't know if Rust is even that great for me. But yeah, if you run it correctly, it's safer. Like, I get that. Like, I also like, I do like the trait system. Is I am actually very familiar with that, because even if I didn't use Rust, because I've used a lot of Haskell, which has the type class system, which is basically the same thing, except Haskell is like more powerful. You can do more things. But yeah, and that system I really enjoy. But yeah, why not Zig though? Use Zig. It's just gonna get better as well. What am I doing? Or, you know, if you don't want to learn Zig, you can go with what you know. If you want to learn a new language, I would suggest Zig. Okay, plus C plus that. Okay, yeah. So this would be... Hang on. That is actually interesting, I think. Because this really only... this... we don't really have access to this here. But also, we don't really need it, because we already have the result. We have pipe out, standard error, we already have this, so we don't actually need this intermediate thing. No, this is set. This is already set. I think that what we need to do, we just need to set this to the binding here. The result here needs to be set. Yeah. So actually, we have to wait first, and then the result is going to be R. But that is also not correct. Actually, it is correct, yes. Actually, we're saving... wait. If we're trying to store R, we're saving it. And then there's... yeah, okay. And then if it's mutable, we store... okay. I think so. Okay, a little bit messy here. And I'm not really sure if this is gonna work, but found... how is this? This should not be an error here. Okay. So I think we have everything now. We just need to check now if this is what... okay, so it is compiling. Okay, what do you think about Zig? Would you see yourself trying it out? Or have you tried it? Sorry, I don't remember if you said that you've tried it. Okay, what is this? This is the local variables, yeah. And that's that. So here's the normal forks. And here is this new instruction. So we're creating this these pipes. We are creating these forks to stream them. Unsupported streamy. What? Oh. Okay, we are missing a dereference somewhere. So let's dereference those. I guess this will also be dereferenced. Is there anything else here? All right. Okay. And fork. Wait. Wait. No. This is wrong. So, yeah. So actually, this would be... this. All right, there we go. Now we're streaming like both. There. All right. So that will stream pipe 3. This will stream pipe 4. Yes. Okay. And then we're creating a closure. That's fine. We're initializing it to void. We're setting C plus 0 to R. So C plus 0 is going to be 1 D. Oops. And that was okay, so that looks correct. And then we're forking again. And now we're waiting for this fork. Okay, we get an error. C plus 1 equals R. R is void. That's fine. Access of address while void is active. Let's try this again. Wait, alloc1 set it to void? No, it didn't. Okay. Here's the issue. So C plus 1. C is void. Oh. Hang on. We forgot one thing. I forgot. Where is it? Compile with context. We're creating a closure, but we're never like compiling the initialization of that. And that is usually done somewhere, somehow. this one, like after everything there, and it should be done outside of the instructions. Yes, we even have a scope that we push as well. I think we need that as well here. Okay, let's move these up here. Wait, that's not correct. It's up here. And I'll move the fork as well. Fork needs to happen here. All right. Okay, let's try this now. Wait, I'm confused. It felt like we had to do a lot more. What the hell is happening? Don't really like how pedantic these more modern languages are. Yeah. I mean, I've gotten used to it by now, to be honest. Like, I didn't like the pedanticness of Zig at first, but now I've gotten used to it. So it's not. Sometimes it's still like a little bit annoying, but it's like mostly I've kind of working sort of around it. But can I have to do what I gotta do because I already set stuff up, but I'm not very happy with Go for application dev. It's good for making a quick server. All right. I guess it also depends on what kind of application you're doing. Like, do you want performance, extreme performance? Do you want, you know, what do you want? You hate C++. Yeah, I would probably never use C++ or C or anything unless I have to because of work or something like that, but okay, hang on. What happened here? So I added this, that's fine. That's fine. I think that should be fine. These are all fine, that's fine. And then we're doing this. And then we're going back, we'll compile this. Actually, no, we don't. Isn't that the whole thing? We don't actually create a new closure. Yes, we do, actually. Yes, we do. But we do it for the new fork. Yeah. Yeah, these are the new things. Okay. Where is the scope push? It happens. Here, yeah. I mean, C++ mostly. I just feel like C++ is such. It just feels like such an archaic language at this point. I don't know. It's like I can't really go back to it because the things that I want to do is not really aligning very well with how like modern languages work. I think it has been left too long behind. I mean, they're doing like, I know it's been updated and there's like new stuff happening all the time, but I don't know. I went back at some point and it's like, it just felt like I was in an alien world all of a sudden, and I knew kind of what I wanted to do, but it was very hard to understand how to do it. And I don't want that hurdle every time I try to do something. Go makes it easier to manage, avoid basic segfaults. Headaches is still possible. Basic stuff handle for you. C++, you gotta think about lifetime strings and random shit like. Yeah, I mean it's the same in Zig. So that's one thing. It's just that I just feel like in Zig it's easier to think about that stuff. Or well, it's easier to do random stuff in Zig. I feel like than in C++. Although I've not tried to use C++ in a long time, but I just remember one time that I tried to go back to C++ and try to do something, and it was just like, why am I getting this weird error when just trying to do some basic thing? There was something about you passing a function to something. I know it's not the best language for that, like higher order functions. I may have not been using it in a good way, but anyway. It's also interesting that C++ implemented like lambdas, and then it made it like impossible, or I mean closures, but it made it like impossible to work with. Not really impossible, but it's just so annoying. What else? It's like PHP, I think, also has the same kind of idea with closures, where you have to supply all the things that you need. You have to declare it one more time. It's so annoying to the point where you don't really want to use it. Or you have to have some special syntax. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's just like, why is it not just easy to work with? Yeah, it gives you features, but do you really feel it's easy to work with? I don't know. And also the macros, or the preprocessor. Why would you ever want that in a language? When now in modern languages, like in Zig, there's comp time instead. Like I know it in C++, there's things like constant expressions or whatever it's called. And I remember when I first saw that, and I was thinking like, wow, that's really cool. But it's very limiting, or it's very limited compared to. And now it's like the compiler is smart enough to figure out what is comp time known and not as well. I guess there might be some maybe some edge cases where you can't do that, but from what I've seen, like when even the C compiler, when it optimizes it, like it knows what's comp time, So it just you know, compile, like optimizes that anyway. That's why I went Go, and honestly the stuff I told you is the only thing keeping me from using Go. Like I use GIO, which is an immediate mode vendor or immediate mode vector rendered UI lib obfuscation. How good the base network lib is. My time is finite, so I can't write a vector based UI lib in another language and make an obfuscator. Okay, back to the I'm interested in the obfuscation. Like what is it that you're trying to do with the obfuscation? Like what is your end goal with that? Okay, you know what? I'll look at this one more time, and if I can't figure it out, we'll just go to some JSXPy for a little while, and then I need to make some food. Actually, let's restart this. I need to see what we're doing here. I'm kind of just autopiling here. So here's the initial setup. Yeah, we're creating the pipes. All right, we're forking those. We are... I wish I could mark thread handles to be just skipped in the debugger. That could be something. Actually, I'll write this down. All right. Debugger. Mark thread as skip. Okay. Oops. Where are we? Here we are. Okay, so we're creating closure refs. Creating closure, allocating it, we're setting that, and now we're setting both of these variables to C+0, and I believe that is the pointer then, C+0, so let's go, yeah, because it's just void, but they're gonna be put to that stack. So let's, or I mean, wait, R plus 0, what is R? R is 1xe, OX1e. Oh, they were just set to C+0. Okay, I feel like there's an issue here. Because I feel like it should probably set it to the pointer of where the variable is stored and not the value it was at that moment. My goal is to prevent code signature detection. I can't really talk about why. What am I can imagine? Well, there's, but you can imagine one of them is this. But I need the binary itself to be randomized using higher level languages. I mean, that sounds like some hacky type stuff. Like you're trying to hack something. You're trying to make a virus or something. You're trying to inject code in a program in somewhere else. That's what it sounds like. What was it like the? Yeah, because I read there was something about, like, I don't know that too much about hacking, but there was something like if you had a random piece of code that would be harder to detect, something like polymorph. I don't remember exactly what it was called now. I mean, there is I know there's like there is a programming concept called polymorphism, of course, where you have a type that is not like 100% known, and it can polymorph. Let's say you have a function that takes an argument that has a like an any type, and you can put in whatever there. But polymorphic code, that is code that it doesn't look the same every time you, I guess, run it, or something like that. And yeah, and that will prevent some kind of detection. But the object of the code is the same, stays the same. The code looks different every time, but the thing that it does is basic. The side effect is going to be the same. Effect is same, but the binary is different. Yeah. So it's like if they can detect one piece of, byte sequence that is the piece of, hacking code, then you just change it so next time it won't be discovered. Yeah. All right. But how would obfuscation help you with that, though? Because obfuscation is just trying to hide some details. With basic detection methods, they use like binary signature matching. Okay. Also, I'm assuming you're doing this in order to help companies. Okay. Set that thread file alloc1 set closure. Yeah. Okay. Pop. Okay, so now that should be fine. Okay, okay, now we're looking at this. So C plus 0 equals R. So that should be fine, I think, because now, yeah, that's fine. And then we fork. Was that the issue when we fork? Closure plus 7? No, that should be fine. Oh, it's not. Okay. It's not fine. Index out of bounds plus 7. Right. So there's a stack issue here. Okay. I'm going to go up here. Put this down into do because I need to cut this short here. And we'll look at some Alpine. Or JSX Pine. To do is stack balance or stack imbalance. Fix stack imbalance. I'm just gonna say that. Run debugger to see. Okay. Just so I don't lose the context here. All right, now I'm just gonna do a little bit of things here. 1 second. No? All right, so let's do... that. One second here. All right. Now, let's do this. Okay, so here we have basically I made this with the help of AI and just to get something rolling here. And if I do I have bun here? Yes. Dev, and let me, okay, there's not much to show there really, so I'm just gonna do that. But basically if we look at index so here you can see we have like the app is a component, and a component is basically just a function that makes some kind of element here. So this is the JSX here, and bun has like built-in support for both TypeScript and JSX, so that's why I also like it a lot. It has its own server. Of course, Node also has its own like HTTP server, so you can use that. However, this server is like way faster because it uses different backend under the hood, which I forget exactly what it was called now. It's called like micro something sockets or micro web sockets or something like that. Super fast like web sockets or sockets library or something, yeah. But anyway, yeah, so here's like the bun server also has the option of like, it has like this built-in routes thing, so you can say routes and then you have your static routes that you can have. This is like, I'm not sure the comments here, but anyway, so here's the route, and you have, this is how you kind of create a response in bun, which I feel like it's a little bit or it's not terse, it's unterse, deterse, I'm not sure what to call it, but you create a new response, and here you can provide some kind of text, and this doesn't render as HTML right now. This renders as text response. So I need to figure that out. But basically, I guess you could add like headers, maybe, yeah, and then like where's the content type is text HTML, I think. Pretty sure. Okay. And we can actually, let's do just run dev. That will start up the server. I'm gonna okay, god damn it. Okay, whatever. Refresh. No, it's still okay. Let me share this browser window here. There we go. So let's see, this one. Isn't that the thing? Mark type HTML. Text HTML. Wait, I didn't see what you said there. Basic hashtag is HTML. Executable pages owned by process checked against literal sequence bytes like asymmetric code. Yeah. I made some tools. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so why is this not working here? It says text HTML here, but it doesn't show. Did I mistype something? Content type. Not modified. Okay, there we go. I had to, okay, it was using the cached because it said not modified for some reason. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the content type is set, but now it's like correct. Yeah, the server was returning not modified, but for some reason. But now it's now we're seeing text HTML. So here's our hello world, and if we look at the code. That's what we have here, and then we render it, and then I have to kind of turn it into a string. I'm using interpolation here to turn it into a string because Bun doesn't have like built-in support for just putting this here, even if it has like support for JSX, but you can turn it in a string like this. Okay, so let's try, and then it's showing some other things here. And what's nice here is also like the built-in server, like in Bun, has this route, and you can even have like things like this. And this is not supported in, I believe, in Node.js, where you can have routes, dynamic routes, and get like parameters and stuff. I don't think that is built into Node.js, so that's a really nice thing. There's even wildcard routes. Okay, let's remove all of this and Bun version. What's this? Required if Bun version. Fallback for unmatched routes. Required if okay, well, whatever. Okay. So there we go. Pretty simple thing. Like this is all you need to get a server running, and that's pretty cool. Okay, and now what do we want to do? So I think also I want to have like serve HTML or something. Man, I'm so unused to this right now, but this will take some kind of element, and then we'll get this thing here. And this would be the element. There we go. And then here we'll do serve HTML. No? JSX. Okay. There we go. No, I don't think so. But this should suffice. I mean, I think it's good this way anyway, because now we can we can determine what we want to have in here. It's really not that big of a deal. Okay, and then it's like, okay, well, let's do like app. We'll put this in here. I was so close to typing const, or I mean pub there. All right, so that's the app. Okay, now let's just make a very simple like to-do app. Let's just try it out, because this is supposed to, you know, somehow work with like Alpine AX, like HTMX and Alpine. Like, I'm not even sure how this is supposed to work, but let's just try to do that. So we'll do like I guess we'll have some state in here. Wait, how is that gonna work actually? I don't even know. I have to kind of look into the documentation here actually. Use case? Wait, what is this? Okay, but how is this? How do you declare state and all that stuff? Okay, well, I guess we'll just try this. We'll just try. Let's just have something out here. This will be the state. So let's just have like to-dos. Or usually some kind of body. Is it done? Okay. Proper stuff. To-dos. And then we'll have a list. So yeah, I guess we'll just do this. Okay. Oh, module not found. It's going to be the introduction. Oh yeah, never seen this paradigm before. Can you explain what the state means? Okay, 1 second. Just need to figure this out. So module not found. What? I am confused. Let's do this. Okay, there we go. But as you can see from here, there's nothing here. So we do get this, but there's no... Okay, well... Of course there's nothing there because we didn't add anything. Okay. Okay, there we go. We get this error every time. That's not great, but okay. Now we can see we get this test to do 2. Okay, well, the state is basically what I was thinking. I'm not sure if this will work yet, but basically, yeah, I just need to figure out how it's gonna work with Alpine to kind of make this into like a mutable state. Right now, nothing can happen here, but if, let's say, like, yeah, because this doesn't even have any Alpine in it right now. But if we, for example, well, let's just say that we have like a form over here. And we have an input. This is, I guess this would be like body. And value is new to do body. And that's, I mean, that's it. And then we have a button. Which is like add, and we'll have a, sorry, let now you to do body. I'm not sure like how this will work, but you know, in React you would do it a little bit differently. Different. Well, differently is a word, I'm pretty sure. Input is no corresponding closing thing, right? There we go. Okay, and then, you know, on change, right? Was that on change? Oh, string. Okay, interesting. So we don't have the, so wait, what? Yeah, it's a string, but I don't want to like inject JavaScript. I want to work with like Alpine. I guess it doesn't work. How does this even work then? Do you have to do these things, or I mean, I thought that this was what it was supposed to like compile into, you know? I mean, I guess maybe it's too much to ask. I just want to see a working like example of like an example of how it's supposed to be used. But I've tried to look at this, but I can't really find anything, you know. Like the only thing I found is this, like, yeah, this is an example, okay, but where's like a working example? Maybe there's something in the repo. No. Wait, this is We provide a set of JSX component boosted with Alpine.js, so it's going to copy. Okay. Go to the corresponding page you want. In the solution part, click on manual in the tab your code will be shown. Click on copy. This seems very different from what I was thinking it was. You have to know what JSX Pine is composed. I mean, how? I guess main entry point. This contains information about properties, define your components, and expand connect to your project. These properties are a schema, tailwind, alias. Okay, well, yeah, and I did the init command, so I have all that stuff, and then you also had to like manually say what things you want. That's right. Yeah. So basically I added the page, I think wait. I added something. Inputs. Okay, well let's look at this. Inputs. Inputs are elements which are blah, 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 blah. Okay, well I guess we'll add the input. Okay, so it added the input. Okay, and now what? Code. Yeah, I think it's because it's. I mean, I don't know. Okay. Field.compose, like, okay. What if we restore the LSP? No, it doesn't find this thing, and this is supposed to be, I think, like where all of the components are stored, I guess. I don't know, or the field components, I guess. But they are not found. Yeah. Now the thing is, like, for the so the thing is, for this to work is like the JSX Pine library is supposed, or they have like a CLI that is supposed to kind of either alias this to, I'm assuming they're adding like an alias to components from somewhere. So if we go to like package.json to see, well, actually, yeah, I mean, it's gonna have to be in here, or like, and the tsconfig as well. I don't see anything. I mean, you have UI. Maybe it's like an outdated thing. Yeah, you can see everything is added here to UI. Maybe it's like UI. Okay, let's try that instead. Maybe it's with like outdated documentation. So I'm just gonna do, well, actually, let's try, does that work? Wait, you can't find UI? Wait, but we have UI here. Oh, maybe because UI doesn't have an index. Yeah. So let's go like field component. No, wait, what was it? Components. Input. Here we go. See, the names aren't even the same, so all right. Okay, now do we have like on change? We do. And you're still a string. Do we have like X? You're a string as well. Okay. X on click value. Okay, so here's like the inner thing here. So we have some state here, I guess. So we can pass in value, class, and some other stuff. Okay, and then it's like adding some styling here. And we have the val, or the data. Okay, so this would be the Alpine stuff. So that's like the initial data. Yo, Subadara, what's up? Welcome. Well, yeah, I took a little bit of break on the Zig stuff, and now I'm, because I'm a web dev as well, so I'm looking at some JSX, a JSX compiler here. Yeah, X8 is the Sun client set. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is like the initial state that we set here, right? We could also, they could also use like JSON stringify or something here, but and here's the actual input, and so we have the X models, also another, like, if I use like Angular terms, a directive, and then we have class, yeah, and then we have a button as well. That's weird. Why is there a button in here? What if we don't want the button? So the button is like, it's setting the value. It's the clear button. I see. It's the clear button. Right. So the thing is, we can't just put a. So how would we get this value out of this? How would we use the value from here? Because this is, now we're in Alpine territory. Yeah, change the demo stream. Yeah, I don't. I'm probably not gonna stream for much longer, so. It's already 1 o'clock here. I need to eat something as well, so I'll look at this for like, I don't know, 10 more minutes. You can set an ID. You can access other component IDs by their IDs. Okay, so you can access. So you can set an ID and then access the data on that element. Okay, because what I was thinking is that this library would make it so that Alpine is kind of hidden from you, so you don't really need to worry about Alpine that much. It's just a backend for making everything work as you want it to work. But you actually have to know Alpine, I guess, to make this work. I mean, it's, yeah. It could be a good stepping stone, I guess, to make it work. So basically, let's just say, instead of name, let's do like ID new to do body. And is there a form component or what? Because now it's like, okay, well now we're kind of, okay, well, also how does it do with like HTMX? Like where does that come in? Is this just a like a recommended thing, or like HTMX allows you to build, yeah. Extend, blah blah blah. Okay, yes. Okay, so it's just like, okay, well, it's recommended to use this with this thing. I guess that's fine. I was like, how does it, like, you know, do some magic compilation of the JSX into integrated, so you never actually have to like put HTMX in there yourself. It's gonna like do it. But basically this form, now I forgot how to do this in like HTMX, but basically I want to create this new state. Yeah, so now we need, you know, the server to keep track to we need the server to have this state. I mean, to make this work, basically we could create like a SQL you know, a SQLite database or something to have this here. We can also just have like a JSON file that we update or something like that. But basically, we need to provide some routes for this. So we need to have like, let's do like /API to-dos, and we'll have. Now I forgot how to do this. Can you have like a thing here? Post. Okay, yeah, you can. So then post, and then this would be, let's say we get rec here, I think. Yeah. Request, response. Wait. No, we don't get the response like that. We just get the request. Okay, and then we're saying like I'm just gonna say we have a state. Let's just do like an in-memory state. I'm pretty sure you can do like that. Database. All right. Oh, is that correct? All right. I'm just gonna copy something here. I'm just gonna copy this from the documentation here. So now we have an in-memory database. I'm gonna do, what is this? Info text. Oh, that's okay. That's the things. Okay, well, let's do like body done. I'll just remove that. Why are we selecting that? Okay, whatever. So this will be run, yeah, this will be reset when the server restarts. You can do a thing with Alpine, for example, when you change the to-do, it shows an update button. Ah, cool. Let's see if we can try that. Why are we closing? I guess we're closing like this connection or something. I don't know. But it seems weird with an in-memory database. Okay, anyway. Let's do export. Is that our thing? Okay. It's not TSX though. I'm just gonna do that. Let's see, this would be like, actually, you know what, we have overseer, so let's do overseer run command bound dev. Right. Okay, there we go. What is it? Overseer open as well? Oh. You do this. Awesome. Okay. Now we'll go here and we'll say that. Oh, there's a thing here. Okay. Run command. Why does that? Why is this not working? Okay, let's do execute. What the hell? Oh, maybe it's because it's like no remap. There we go. Okay, anyway, now we have that. So let's go to index. And over here we're creating a new to-do. So we will get like, let's get like a JSON. You need an async. I guess there it is. Front end, instead of using React, use Alpine HTMX. Yeah. Or you don't get, like, if you want to have TypeScript code for the components on front end, maybe that's not the point. I generally don't like the idea of gluing crap together as a solution. Yes, that is basically what it feels like right now, except they're trying to make it like easier to glue it together. I'm just gonna see how far we'll get here. Like it's what I was thinking it was at first was like a complete solution to, you know, compiling JSX into like an app, like instead of React, it was basically gonna be, you know, JSX HTMX with Alpine as a backend for the front end. That's a weird sentence, but as like a runtime for the front end. But that wasn't really what's happening here. But anyway, I'm just gonna run this through and see, because we're in this now. I looked into stencil.js and it's what you thought this was. Oh, okay. So more custom HTML. Okay, yeah, I'll look into that as well. Okay, so we have the body. Now you could do something like Zod here to verify that the body is what it's supposed to be, but I'm just gonna assume that we are gonna get a to-do here. So this is gonna be like body.body. So let's just do like, well, actually let's do like this, and then I'm not really sure, execute maybe, and it's gonna be like insert into to-dos values, and then like I mean, this is always gonna be false, I guess, but whatever. So is this a... oh, it has a callback. Ugh. Wait. Like, I just want the promised version, I guess. What is this? Wait. Like, what is even this? And I think, is there a way to kind of just do like success or something? What is it? 204 or is it 201? I forget. For no content. .204 is no content. It's success with no content. Highly advanced HTTP codes here. Actually, there might be. No, maybe not. All right. Anyway, yeah, I was thinking like you could do, because some of the response has like you can response JSON directly. That's pretty good. Or error, but that's it. Like then they stop with the convenience. It's like, yeah, you have redirect as well, but it's like, yeah, okay, what about other things? Like, why stop there? Like, why implement only these things and then stop? Like, okay, but anyway, all right. So Yes, it's bun. So that's that. Now, how would we... I guess what you also could do is you could return the new list of to-dos. You can also return the new to-do as like an HTML, I guess, as well. Because that's like kind of the HTMX ways. Like you're getting like the new thing back, which you then insert into the HTML. Yeah. So... and if it's like 200 by default, so you don't even need that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, oh, but you can't even do like HTML. But yeah, but now we have serve HTML, so we can do serve HTML, and then we can do like to do with this. With I guess it will be this. Also, we need like IDs as well at this point. But oh yeah. But let's just try this for now, and I'll add a to-do here as well. So we will grab, well, it's basically just to-do from this is not a good organization, but whatever. And this would just, I'm just gonna do this to have it. This is also, I really hate this. You can also choose like which one do you rename. Is it this one or this one? I usually do the types. You can also rename this to like to do component, but I just hate that. All right, and then here we can do. So now here we can say, you know, to do with to do. Actually, let's just rename this to-do model then. You can also say state, I guess. All right. There we go. Yeah. So now, so you would be to-do equals body. Gonna find name to do, and let's import that. To do is not assignable to. What's the issue here? Oh, right. These are the props. So you would have the props, and you would do that. I usually also just do this, and this is to do props, so it's like folder name, so you can import the props if you want to, you know, use it for some reason. I don't think we need to do that. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, so now when we post that, we're gonna read the body, insert that directly into the database. I believe this is like properly, you know, I hope it's escaped. But anyway, and then here, and then we return this new thing here. So we should be able to do that. So now let's look at the app and see what we need to change here to make this work. And I believe we don't really care about on change, I don't think. And the value is like, we don't even need to get a value in here. We have the ID, although I'm not even sure if we need that actually, let's just have body, and then we'll have like a input. I'm just gonna do like a hidden thing where the type is hidden. I guess maybe this. All right. Okay. But then here is like, yeah, I think it's like hx post. Oh shit, we get. Okay, this is one thing that's really nice. We get like auto completion for these ones. I mean, we get auto completion for the names of these attributes, but we don't really get any more help than that, I don't think. Unless they have like some super advanced string type checking here, but okay. And this would be like API to-dos, and I think that's it, because HTMX will take these names unless you have to say ID, but they and get like a. I'm not sure if it makes it into a JSON automatically. It has to know it's JSON as well, right? Somehow. And I need to place, yeah, the result. That's right. So this would be like, what was this called? Swap. Before begin. Oh, you can do that. Okay. So actually we don't even have this list here, but let's do that. Oh, the target, right? The target. Okay. So it's not okay. And swap after begin, before end. Awesome. There we go. Sorry, we got it, I think. And now the only thing is like the JSON. It's like data type. Format, content, head, no, next, mine, JSON encoding. Okay, I need to look this up here. HTMX form JSON post. I mean, we could also not send JSON, but oh man, I have to. Do you have to do things for this? Okay, maybe we'll not send JSON actually. And we'll go back to the server. Okay, so this is not JSON. This is like, what is this? Form data. And this would be like get body. This is I guess it will make it into the thing. And well, here is where I would want this to be some kind of automatic thing to make it more generic later, but All right. What is this? Anyway. Okay. So, yeah. Let's try this now, I think. Why is this not like saying anything? Yeah, I think this doesn't work. $3,000. Okay. So let's. Oh, wait. What? No, why is it doing that? Man, I hate that. I mean, it's like it's doing the default, you know, reload the whole page when you press a form submit thing. Oh, no, HTMX is not important. That's a good, but that is a good. I mean, yeah, that. I have to include is optional. All right. I wonder if like Alpine or the JSX Pine has some. What is it? Yeah, all of this. I've done all this. Blah 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 blah. Like the initial, you know, the wrapper, the HTML wrapper thing. But okay, I'll just look into HTMX thing. Where is the thing? All right, so let's do like I think. Yeah. And since it's HTMX, or I mean JSX, you don't have to adhere to the weird HTML rules of closing elements in specific ways depending on the type of element or the type of tag. Okay, so that would do that. What about, I mean, what about Alpine? It has, I have to include Alpine as well, right? Okay. So okay, I have to restart the server. I thought that it would like automatically do that because okay, there we go. Now we get some Alpine stuff. We get HTMX. Cool. I just want to get some kind of basic like CSS styling without alright. I think I need to restart. There we go. Okay, now we get 500. Whoa. What the hell is this? Bun fallback style? Wait, oh. It's like a bun error thing. But we don't even see anything here. To-dos failed. Okay. What is the error? We can't see it. Do I need to like connect or? And why is there like no documentation on here? I feel like this library has existed for like a million years. It sort of works, but I need to, like the HTMX works now, but I need to figure out what's why I get some error here. Okay, so I mean, if we refresh, that's not gonna be there. So there's some kind of error on the back end. It does work, but there's an issue here. Database is closed, right? So how do we open it? I mean, do we just not close it? Like over here, we don't close it. See, this is restarting at some points. Sometimes it works with restart, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, we get hello. Yeah, I still get the same error. I'm gonna try and restart it again. Okay, now we get SQLite error no such column hello. Okay, so this is like a how my usage of SQLite error. So this is just thrown in here. Was it like this or? I'm gonna try it again. Now it works. Except it doesn't. Okay, I think I know what the issue is. It works now. It's just that when I refresh, I get back this. Okay. Now, I don't think the ID is not the issue right now. The issue right now is that when I serve the original app, the index, I will like it's not that like dynamic. So like if we go back to app and we're serving this here. So I'll just remove this. Because it's like, okay, I'm gonna get to-dos from DB, get, I guess, so you have to provide like a callback. It's just it's annoying. Yeah, okay, let's not do that then. Let's do, so you can't really do that. Let's just do like get to-dos. Actually, this would be like get, yeah, API to-dos. So get. I mean, it's gonna be the same issue here. It's gonna be like, okay, let's do new promise. So how do we actually get this out? I guess this would be statement. Oh, that's the error. What is that? Statement. Yeah. Reset, finalize, run, get all. Like I just wanna. What the hell? Where? How do you get the data? Do you have to listen to it like on? Or what? I don't. Oh my god. query serialization API. Each select you get a row. Okay, well that's, I don't really want that. I mean, I guess we could use this to get all the data, but then you have to kind of create an array and push it in, like, yeah. Or I mean, okay, just to make this work here, then what you would do is you would do like this. Oh, actually, this would be like service HTML. Okay, and then we don't need a promise, or we do. Actually, we do. Well, no, we'll do each. And now you are a row, or not? What the hell? Wasn't this how they said it was gonna work? db.each. Oh, I see. You get and then row. There we go. Okay, and the result plus equals to do and then we serve it. I mean, technically we could push this out to like as a response. Couldn't we? Like, but I don't think bun allows you to do that. Actually, Node does allow you to do that with like the REST, but this is not REST, this is server. So that doesn't, like, you can't get the response thing. You have to put it out everything at the same time. Unless you can maybe do it in another way, but okay, well, whatever. We'll do that. And yeah. So now we can get all the things. So this will like HSA, and I think you can do like initial or load or wait, or HX load, or I forget what it was. But basically this should get triggered like only once, like when you load the thing. Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to figure out how to get everything, but okay, I saw an example using like this kind of thing, and yeah, whatever. That okay. Now, where are we? So let's bring this up. Run this server. Where is it? Over here. Okay. Let me do this. So now you can see we get an empty list instead. We add one item and we refresh, we get nothing. Okay. What? Isn't it supposed to run this? Or do I have to add the HTMX trigger? HTMX. Get target swap trigger. Thought you could say like trigger load or something like that. Yeah, load. User for lazy loading something, yeah. It was just, it wasn't automatically. Like, I thought it would be part of this, but it wasn't. Okay. Well, it still doesn't load. It does call it now, but we don't get any response. Interesting. Content length is 0. This also doesn't give us anything. It's pending. Okay, I get some weird errors now. Okay. Anyway, I think I'll call it here. But very interesting. I'll also wanna check out the stencil.js thing because that looked interesting. But this was I was just trying to try this out and see what it actually does. But basically, what this is doing is it's taking like a library that already exists, like kit.js or whatever it's called, which already renders JSX components into strings, and then it just slaps on a bunch of Alpine JS. It provides like it says on the website that it's not a component library, but to me it kind of feels like a component library with some management of what components you want to add to your project and some, like, I guess, easy way kind of, but not really, way to import it, because you can already, like, you could always like just install the package. It will end up in your node modules, and if you want to import some, you know, components from there, you can just, you know, import from the node modules directly, and you don't have to do this whole weird, you know, package alias thing. So I feel like it's just it's a little bit confusing, this thing, but yeah, the basic, like, you know, idea of HTMX plus Alpine JS and then plus JSX basically, but you can basically just use this without this library and just do this with something like kit.js or something instead. Because this is just confusing. Like I'm struggling to understand what this actually gives you here. I mean, it has these components, and that's all I see. That it's basically like a component library for this specific setup, which is kind of nice. But it's also confusing that it says that it's not a component library. Or did I read that wrong? It is a set of reusable components for building web applications with JSX and Alpine JS. It's intended to give JS developers two powerful tools to create fast and efficient user interfaces without the need of SPA frameworks and libraries. Okay, I'm not sure where I read that, but anyway. That's gonna be it for this time. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.